No, stop. I hate this thing. Hello and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. Come on and sit down, relax. My name is Mark. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me this week, all the way from the great white north, it's Kate.
Hello.
Is it white up there right now? Do you have snow?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, we have a little snow.
Nice.
Not
And
like a ton,
below him on your screen, or below Kate on your screen, joining us, of course, is Matt.
Howdy.
And then last but not least, from 60 miles away, it's Mitchell.
Hello.
We have a lot to discuss. I still can't figure out how to get this thing off the screen. It is the worst. Like, I can change it to something else, but I can't get rid of it.
Nope. I really want to know how to set up a concrete foundation for my garage and house.
Yeah, well, you know, you've come to the right podcast. It's the podcast about setting foundations. No, it's not. It's about video games and the week's news in video games, and we have lots to cover. I've been gone for several weeks, and Matt has held down the fort with Mitchell and other guests, so thank you for that. And by the way, Mitchell, you are now contractually obligated that every time the sword strike happens in the intro, you must make the guns that you made that time. That was... You thought I wasn't paying attention, but I was paying attention. Man, this thing is really annoying that I can't get rid of it at all. Like,
just put up like a really big game advertisement for the game that we're like going to be talking about or something.
Yeah,
like
something.
Google
Well,
Images.
I'll get the Twitter feed up because it looks like I can still do Twitter.
Twitter.
Tweet.
Slash Gamersledge. Does that work? Survey says yes. Good. So that's good.
Yeah.
So let's start as we do by going around the room talking about what we've been playing. Let's start, of course, with everybody's favorite person to go first. It's Kate.
Jeez. I'm gonna turn off the game I'm playing. Okay, I actually, in the past couple weeks, have been playing stuff. I haven't been on for a while, but in most of that, I wasn't playing anything. But this week I picked up Dissidia, so I was playing some of that. And
Are you enjoying it?
I am.
Good.
And I put some time into Final Fantasy IX.
Nice.
While I was waiting for Dissidia to download, because apparently it didn't auto-download after I pre-ordered it. And I picked up Dissidia Opera Omnia, which is the mobile game. I started playing that. It's like Record Keeper, kind of.
Oh.
Like the same sort of, draws for weapons and that kind of thing, but it actually has, like, a story, as opposed to, how, like, Record Keeper is just sort of cutscenes.
Grind.
Like
grind some more.
It has a story where you pick up people and it kind of makes sense. But so far it's really good, and it's cute. It's got really nice graphics for a mobile. Well, they're very stylized. I was gonna say for a mobile game, but the Mobius Final Fantasy one has amazing graphics for a mobile game. This one's very kind of cartoony, but it's got the same sort of bravery HP attack stuff that Dissidia has.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's pretty good so far. What else have I been doing? I've been playing Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation, just kind of in my downtime of stuff. So I'm still kind of playing that. Been doing a lot of reading for work, of course, and I spent most of kind of Christmas, since I was very, like, had SADS, when, seasonal affective winter Christmas blahs, so I didn't really play a lot of games, but I did catch up on the first campaign of Critical Role, which was about 150 hours of content that I binged in like 3 weeks, so I could be ready for the new season that just started a few weeks ago. So I've been watching that live, and that's about it.
You know, I've tried multiple times to get into Critical Role because I love actually watching people playing a game like that. But I will say that the 3 hours per episode running time is a little intimidating when you go to
It is. It really, like, because I had no drive to do anything, it, like, was kind of easier for me to do it. But at the same time, it is super daunting, and it was like, this is a lot of freaking episodes. Like, I have Project Alpha subscribed, but I watched them on YouTube because you can do the double speed, which is pretty helpful in getting through some of the episodes. But I mean, you don't need to finish the campaign 1 if you want to start watching campaign 2. They're in the same.
No, I know, but I would want to do that just like you did. I would want to do it that way.
You should, like, they're on YouTube on Mondays. Like, it airs on Thursdays, but they're on Mondays, and they're only a few episodes in.
Yeah.
So it's better now than 115 episodes in to start catching up.
Yeah, no, most definitely, yeah.
Because, 115 episodes plus all the one-shots at, like, 4 hours a pop. It's like 500 hours plus.
Boy.
Well, then that brings us then to Matt. What have you been up to?
Not a lot actually. I have my handy dandy list here. I finished Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Nice.
So that was good. That was about 10 hours. So it was a nice, good chunk size game. You know that. The Uncharted games always seem to go a little bit longer than you feel like maybe they should. But this one definitely cranked right along. I had somehow managed to not be spoiled on a couple of twists. So managed to still be kind of surprised when a couple of things happened. So yeah, that was good. I'm actually going to do a second playthrough since it was only 10 hours. I'm actually going to do a second playthrough because my wife didn't see all the story, and there's a couple of trophies I can clean up. So yeah.
Are you platinum running it?
No, there are some, just like every other Uncharted, there are some trophies in that series that are just ridiculous. You know, kill 6 enemies, 1 with each type of weapon in 5 seconds, 20 times throughout the game. No, I'm not going to punch an enemy, shoot them, hit them with a rifle, run them over with a car, and then attach C4 to their forehead and blow them up. No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm sorry, that sounds freaking awesome.
It's in 5 seconds. That's the problem.
Hashtag goals, Matt. Hashtag goals.
Yeah, I know. My goal is to actually get through some games. That's the problem.
So what are you going to play now that you finish that one? I know you're going to do another playthrough, but what's next on the docket?
Next on the docket is 2 games.
Cecil.
What? She's talking to her game. I'm going to pick up the 2. I'm going to pick up finish up. Trying to clean up a bunch of games that I've started and never finished. Infamous First Light. I never finished the story on that. My goal at one point was to platinum it because I platinumed every other Infamous, but I hate timed challenges. I just really don't enjoy them. Or I guess these aren't. Yeah, they're timed. Are they timed or are they just point challenges? I think they're both. But those things with her where you're in the training center and you've got to get so many points and do the this and the that and the whatever, and unless all of a sudden they magically just come to me now that I've left it alone for months and I can just all of a sudden magically do them, I'll probably not be platinum running that. But finish the story up on that at least because I never did. And then Wolf 2 will be my new game that I'll be starting.
Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just making sure I knew what Wolf 2 was.
Yeah, sorry. That's
sure. No, that's right.
That's been the shorthand we've been tossing about for a while for some reason. Yeah, Wolfenstein 2, was it the New Colossus? I think it's the subtitle on that one. So
yeah. So then are you doing RE7 after that then, or?
That's the plan.
RE7 is so good, man.
Yeah, I want to do it, but my wife wants to at least watch the first couple hours to see if she wants to watch it too. And
are you going to do it in VR or regular?
Regular, because I don't own a fancy.
I didn't remember if you owned it or not.
I have the VR now back in my possession, but I do not have RE7. I'm waiting for it to go like I know it's been on sale, but I'm really waiting till it's like $20, and then I'm
You
gonna
might have
pick
to
it
wait a
up.
while because it's one of
Yeah,
Capcom's
we'll
only
talk
big
about that
sellers.
today. Yeah, exactly.
So you
Yeah,
might be waiting
the,
a long time.
And now now the gold edition's out, you know, the regular vanilla edition may go down soon since the gold edition. That's what I have. I have the gold edition, so I've got all the extra DLC and stuff. So
Does that also include the newest wave of DLC that came out? Or?
Yep, it includes that last batch that came out right before Christmas or right after. I forget which it was. I went.
Of Zoe and
Yep.
Chris
Redfield.
Yep, the Chris Redfield stuff. Yeah. So I went back and I finally got around to finishing episode Prompto and playing episode Ignis. Episode Ignis is by far, aside from him being probably my favorite character of the group, that is still objectively by far the best of the 3 episode contents.
I've come up with a new recipe.
That was an Assassin's Creed Festival, which I also finished before it disappears. But it also has Prompto doing his mimicry of, which he did before on one other thing. I don't remember when, but Prompto doing his mimicry of Ignis with the new recipe thing when you eat the thing from the cafe. Oh, that's what it was. It was the Chocobo Mog Chocobo Festival when Noctis did that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much done, I think, with Final Fantasy 15 now until the next round of DLC comes out.
I guess I'll just wait till the Royal Edition comes out.
The only other thing is I did start. I played the basically tutorial part of Comrades. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
the multiplayer.
Yeah.
The multiplayer. Yeah.
But I haven't done anything other than that intro part, so I don't know if I'll go back to that or not. I've got way too many other things to try to tackle.
Literally was going to be my next question is whether or not you've done the online multiplayer yet or not.
No,
You really should. And I'm not saying don't commit a week to it. Commit like 3 hours to it, and just check it out because I would like to hear your thoughts on it. Because I know what mine are, but I can't articulate them super well because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
Not that I really would be, but still, I would be interested in hearing your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I won't put it away. I won't put the disc so far away that I'll forget that it exists. So, but yeah, so that's where the games. Everything else is. Let's see, I finally finished the Punisher Netflix series. That thing was probably about 4 episodes too long. Really was. I think it had 3 finales. I think it had a finale for storyline 1, went 2 more episodes, had a finale for storyline 2, and then went 2 more episodes and had a finale for storyline 3. It was really weird pacing. The episode structure was weird. Kind of meandered. Some of it was really, really good. Others of it less so. So I still enjoy Berthnall's portrayal of Punisher and Castle most of the time. That kind of redeems his role in The Walking Dead for me because I kind of hated him after that.
He was like, I'm sorry, but he played that too well. I'm right there with you. Like he was tarnished after The Walking Dead for me.
Yeah. So this was a good role for him, I think. But I last week I talked about the first half hour of the Godzilla anime on Netflix and how I kind of thought it was a snooze fest and wasn't sure if I was going to finish it. Well, Mitchell said it's a lot different. You're right at the turning point where the show changes into something very different. And yeah, he was right. The back half is way better. The way they try to do the lore and world building in that first half hour is just bleh.
Yeah.
But then it turns into a very different show, and a nice little twist at the end, which most people are probably going to see coming. It's not that much of a surprise, but it was well done. I got talked into starting a series of unfortunate events on Netflix because my youngest wants someone to talk about it with because none of her friends will watch it. And then in a rare state of occurrences, I'm caught up on comics, except for the ones that came out today.
But wait, you didn't actually say what you thought of a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, a series of unfortunate events. Well, I'm 2 episodes in, and I believe that concludes book 1. Now, the books aren't very big, you know, they're kid-ish books. But it's Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf is brilliant casting. Shoot, who was the judge? The justice.
Joan Cusack.
Yeah, Joan Cusack was that was dead on casting too. The kids all did well. It's gonna take me a while to get used to the look of it. It was the same problem I had with Pushing Daisies. That style that's almost like layered for the sets. It doesn't sit well with my brain. It was kind of like the shift between the animation and the Godzilla, where it would look 2D and then all of a sudden everyone would move and everything was 3D. It was jarring to my brain to have that sudden kind of shift. That layering is unsettling to me. I don't know why. It just doesn't sit well. But by the end of the second episode, I was kind of getting used to it. So by the time I finish it, it's only 8 episodes, I think. So hopefully I'll be used to it. And then season 2 drops on the 20th of March, I think. And having what the heck's his name?
Neil Patrick Harris? Warburton.
No, Neil Patrick Harris as Olaf, but
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, Warburton. There, thank you. As Lemony Snicket. Because you know just how he can deadpan deliver. He's got that voice. You know,
you're talking about the Tick, right? The original Tick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he just has that voice, and he just delivers every line pretty much like this. So that was really good casting too. Although sometimes he's in it a little too much. It's like, okay, dude, go away and let the stuff happen on the screen. But I know that's playing to the style that the books are written in. So, yeah. So far I'm enjoying it. Okay, it's not great. It's not blowing me away. But I keep on looking at the girl who plays Violet, and she looks like a young. I am not doing well with names. Katniss.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, she looks like a young Jennifer Lawrence to me for some reason. Just very similar facial features. Every time I look at her, I'm like, is that like Jennifer Lawrence's little sister or something? It's not. I looked it up, but so yeah. So it's good, but I'll have to get through the whole thing and see where it goes. I'm not die hard enamored with it, but it's really good casting. It's just the structure of it's a little weird, and the visual thing is kind of throwing me. Then yeah, so comics caught up with, except for this week's. They've started their 52 Avengers thing, so there's an Avengers comic every week now. No Surrender, which is interesting because it doesn't fit in with anything. Events are kind of like that. You'll have the stories that are going in the individual books, and then you'll have an event, and then everything kind of tries to tap dance around that, and then you have everything that happens after the event. Well, this is happening concurrently with everything else in the Marvel Universe, except it's completely incompatible with everything else that's happening in the Marvel Universe. So it's interesting. I'm not really sure whose idea this was.
Saying it's like every other Marvel crossover. Got it.
Well, except it's all in one book. The Avengers drops every week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Well, it's not like a crossover where you've got. Well, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it's weirder for some reason because it's not it's not its own book, right?
Right.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else.
Mitchell, what's been on your plate?
So I finished Monster Hunter Stories, or at least the story. There's some post-game stuff that I've been working on a bit. Played some Smite, some Subnautica, now that it's on full release, as I understand it. I've been, on my phone, I've been playing some Final Fantasy Record Keeper still. And with the drop of some more Hoenn Pokemon, I've been playing around with Pokemon Go a bit. Not too much, generally just in my dorm while I'm watching something, I'll just fire up Pokemon Go. And luckily, there's enough people who use their phones in the dorms, imagine that, that we get some Pokemon that actually pop up here. So it's really nice. But then I run out of Pokeballs, and then I have issues. But then...
And then
yeah.
you do homework.
Well, I do homework anyway. Now, before I forget, I did watch some of Series of Unfortunate Events as well. I dropped it. I couldn't stand the... I just barely made it to almost the end of the first episode, and I'm like, no, I can't stand this. I don't like the narration style. I don't like how there's constantly this constant interjection. Just like, let the story go. Just let it go. My goodness. And then there's also constantly the whole joke about where they say a big word and they're like, we know what that means. Okay, we get it. They're smart. They know what big words mean. I know what big words mean. They know. Why'd you have to tell us what they mean? I've been also catching up on the Marvel shows on Netflix. So I finished Daredevil Season 2. I think I'm nearing the conclusion of Jessica Jones.
Just when you think it is, you find out you're on episode 4. I'm just letting you know.
No, I'm like on episode like... Oh, goodness. I don't remember. Because I've been watching...
You still have
Flash.
32 more. Trust me.
And now I've been watching Flash and Supergirl. I got to the point... I was watching Flash, then I got to the point where there's a crossover between the two, so I had to catch up on Supergirl to do the Flash episode. And then at some point I'm also going to have to catch up on Arrow and
Legends of Tomorrow.
That one, yes.
Yep.
Which will be along the way once I get to the point where that crossover happens. But yeah, other than that, and also I watched a YouTuber do the first 2 Colossi in the new Shadow of the Colossus.
Cool. I can't wait.
Just to kind of see what that looked like. And also to see if the rumors about new Colossi were real. And they weren't.
Well,
I counted the statues.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. We'll see. I have a list that is as long as my arm. And I don't think there's any way for me to... Can I put myself up there? Nope, it puts all you up there. Hot damn! Yay, so you get to watch me on the small little circle. Oh, there it went. How did I do that? There we go. Okay, so what I played, my wife bought me Shadow of War for Valentine's Day early. That game is stupid fun. I really thought that I was going to be overwhelmed with all the changes that they made from the first to the second, because the first one was just like you were right on that border of this is too overwhelming. And then now they're adding in the mechanics of sieging fortresses and taking those over and everything. Nah, it's good. It's a blast. It's still the best Assassin's Creed game I've ever played. So, kudos to Warner Brothers for outdoing Assassin's Creed. It's pretty good. The only thing that's weird is that they marketed it about mind controlling the orcs and making them fight for you. And you can't do that until almost the end of Act 2. And the acts are not small in the game. So I was playing for like 12 hours before I could even get to that part of the story. And I'm all just like, this would be a whole lot easier if I could mind control them. And so it's kind of weird that they, marketed the whole thing on that and you don't even get it for the first major part of the story.
So you haven't found the whole being interrupted by an orc doing something every 10 seconds to be disruptive?
So it's not so bad as it seems like it would be. There are skills that you buy that actually cut down on that stuff. And it makes battle easier to where you're not getting interrupted all the time. You still got to be aware of the circumstances, but to be fair, I'm playing it on the easiest level because I just didn't want to mess with all that too. And so it gives you very clear prompts as to, hey, somebody is about to attack you, you need to hit triangle. And so a lot of times I'll just drop what I'm doing and I'll hit triangle, because it's better that than being hit and losing what you were doing than to just stop what you're doing. And now I have upgrades that makes it so that if I wait till the right time to counter, it will automatically kill them if they're not a boss. So, yeah, I'm interrupted for a half second, they're dead, and then I just go right back to the button that lets me, either drain their essence or mind control them, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm actually, it's really fun, and the game dramatically shifts once you do get the mind control powers, because they've trained you so well up until that point. You still kind of play in stealth mode, even though you don't need to ever again. Once you get to that point, you can mind control anyone quickly and easily, so you don't need to play the whole stealth game that the entire first half of the game was teaching you to play. So it's kind of weird, because I will catch myself actually like sneaking into camp, and then I see a guy and I'm like, why am I sneaking around? You're mine. Okay. Now he goes and attacks somebody. Oh, he's mine too. Oh, he's mine too. And so it's like, it's weird, but it's fun. I really, really like it. I've been doing a lot of the online stuff now, and there's actually 2 different modes for that I didn't know was even in the game. The first one is, Matt, let's say you're playing your game, your single player game, and you die. It actually uploads that information and creates a instance of your game with those orcs, and I can go into it and avenge your death. And if I successfully do it, you get prizes and I get prizes. These are the loot boxes in the game. And so I don't have to do that. You never see it. It never affects your world. You just get prizes if somebody does it. And then the other mode is the Fortress Assault mode, which is like a combination of capture the flag and then ridiculousness. So you capture these 2 areas in their courtyards, and that opens the main gate to where you go in and fight the guy. But inside where you fight that main guy, they have like 50 billion orcs. You can't summon any of your followers, and it's very hard. It's very hard. But it's also fun, nonetheless. So I really didn't think I would like the online stuff at all, but I really do. It's a lot of fun. So there's Shadow of War. I've been playing the hell out of Divinity Original Sin 2. My wife was also kind enough to gift me the money to go pick up Monster Hunter Worlds, even though I wasn't really super stoked on the beta.
You didn't want to play it. You thought it.
I know, like it. but the other side of that is like 75% of my friends list is playing it every day, and so it's like, and apparently there is a target lock, and I was just too stupid to find it. So that's fair, So I'm rethinking buying it, and I was just about to drop the money, and then suddenly a bunch of people popped up and said, "Oh, you play Star Trek on PC?" And I'm like, "Yes, I play it on the PC. If you want to play it on the PC." And so I pulled out my 8-year-old copy this year of Star Trek Online on the PC and started helping everybody get vamped up. So I actually didn't end up buying Monster Hunter World because that's been sucking up all my time. And I'm still playing it on the PS4, so I'm playing it twice as much now. That's fantastic.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. And then there's this little game called DragonBall FighterZ that dropped, which is ridiculously, like, this game is way better than it has a right to be. The only thing that really pulls it down is a lot of choices by Bandai Namco. You really can't play with friends online. It's broken to the point that if I wanted to play a game with Matt, he would have to log on to the exact same server that I logged onto. Then I would have to start a local match on that server, and then when he tries to join, it tells him there are no rooms. And you do that for an hour, and if you're lucky, maybe once you get in and we can fight. So that's
on that.
Yeah, they're working on it, but it's still super broken at this point. And then on top of that, they blocked SharePlay, which Matt and I found out firsthand because I tried to bring Matt in to do SharePlay, and it's blocked, so you can't do it, which is kind of silly. The battles are great. The characters are great. If you want 60 different shades of Goku, you got it, with more on the way, supposedly. So we'll see, but it's actually a lot deeper than that. They have made like, I almost didn't like the combat system when I first got it because it is so easy that literally anyone can pick it up. My wife picked up the combo system immediately, and suddenly she's throwing Kamehamehas and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. But it almost reprioritizes managing your characters and their health levels and your super meters. And that's really what you're focusing a lot of the game on, which is fine. The game looks absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. It is so good.
It looks better than the anime.
It looks better than the anime. You're right. It's better in every way because you don't have 7 episodes of filler grunting to get you to the conclusion of the fight.
Well, even just like the graphics fidelity, like the Arc System Guilty Gear engine is amazing. You could you could freeze the screen any place, and it looks like a render from an anime.
And one of the nice caveats that they did is they call them dramatic intros and dramatic finishes. If you actually have a setup from the anime, like for example Goku and Frieza on planet Namek, then it actually shows Frieza killing Krillin, which is my favorite part of the entire game. I'm just going to make like an hour-long loop of that. But it shows Frieza killing Krillin and then Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. And then, depending on how the match ends, if Goku wins, then it shows kind of the stuff directly after that. So it's very interesting that they have... and there are differences. I have looked at some of the anime sequences and the in-game sequences side by side, and there's little differences, like they're wearing the wrong things, but still, who frickin' cares? It's really nice, and it's a lot of fan service. We still don't have the base versions of Goku and Vegeta, which are pretty much guaranteed to be DLC, and I'm guessing, since I have literally seen in this system Goku doing a Spirit Bomb, I'm guessing his finisher is going to be a Spirit Bomb, which would be another way that it's better than the anime, because he does the Spirit Bomb in about 7 seconds, whereas it's, 22 episodes in the main storyline for him to do a Spirit Bomb?
Give or take.
Give or take. So yeah. The thing that I just found out about yesterday, I was playing around with it. If you go to watch one of the save game replays, they actually have the little spastic announcer dude from the anime series kind of commenting on the match as it plays out right in the middle of the screen. It's really kind of funny. It's like he's out there with the TV crew watching, like in the anime. It's pretty funny. So that's interesting. But that game is a lot of fun. Just I hope they fix the online stuff soon, because that's really dragging it down. South Park Phone Destroyer, WWE 2K18, finished South Park Fractured But Whole, Typo Man, Dead by Daylight. Been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight, which that's so not a game I would have thought I would really enjoy, but I do. Super Hot VR is so buttery good. If you ever get a chance to play it, you need to play it. It's so good. Kickbeat is a rhythm fighting game I got on sale that is kind of quirky and fun. Yomawari Midnight Shadows. Everspace, which is a roguelike first or third person space game, combat game. Endless Space 2, which is a space Civ, basically, or Age of Empires, and Dungeons Light, and then Citus 2 on the phone. Sadly, that's an iPhone-only game, but it is a rhythm game, and it is a lot of fun and very well put together. Been watching Ultimate Beastmaster on Netflix, which is super good. I highly recommend it if you are into things like American Gladiator and that type of stuff. It's really, really entertaining. I went insane and got back on the wrestling bandwagon, so I subscribed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm watching that on a regular basis now again. And the wife and I have been watching something called Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. It is about the guy who was the bassist and the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond. He's just a very nice Jewish guy who has never been anywhere, never ate anything, and you get to go watch him go to Bangkok and eat Thai food for the first time and meet the people there and try and get to know people. It's kind of amusing, and it's very well put together, surprisingly. I found out after we finished the series, that's not the first series. He actually had a first series that is also on Netflix called I'll Have What Phil's Having. It was originally on PBS, and I actually think that show is better than the new Netflix one. So, just FYI. And we've been watching a lot of South Park, and that's it.
So Unfractured Butthole, is that better or worse than the original, or about the same, do you think?
Yeah, so it's... I want to say this diplomatically, because the game is very good. It is missing something. There's something about that first game that you look at it and it is the complete... Like, if Matt and Trey were to sit down and make a video game, that's it. Every detail is perfect. The second one is really, really, really good. It's very, very good. The combat system is much improved. It's much more strategic. The powers are good, and it is funny. But it somehow seems empty of that touch of Matt and Trey. It's like, I wish I could give you a clear-cut answer. You'll be walking somewhere and there's not music. That doesn't seem like a big thing. But when you go back and you play Stick of Truth, there's nowhere. There's not a single time, unless they are making a dramatic beat for comedic effect. There is never a point where there's no music. Right. And it's a lot of the same... You know, you go into the house. It's the exact same house from the first one. There's nothing really new in there or different. So it doesn't seem as evolving or lived in as the first one. I think a lot of this has... I think especially if you played Stick of Truth before and you approach it now, you're not even going to notice this. But since I, mainlined both of them in a row, I do notice that there are small differences. Again, it's not a bad game. It's a very, very, very good game, but it is missing something. I think it's just a little bit worse than the first one, and it goes on just a little bit too long. Also, it should have stopped about, I don't know, an hour before it did. But other than that, I mean, really, I've got no complaints. It's still got lots of callbacks to the show. It made me stop playing the game and go watch seasons 19 through 21 of South Park, because I realized that I was missing jokes, and I'm like, I need to go check what this is about. So I did that, and there's a lot of interesting things in there. So if you watch the show, you're going to find a lot to love about it, etc. And overall, very, very, very good. Again, really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool.
Well, let's jump into news, because we have a bit of it. Surprisingly, there was some stuff going on this week. Let's scroll down and see if we can find where you posted the podcast last. We'll start there. I'm going to try and control myself when we get to that Metropolis conversation.
You'll fail. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure you're right, because screw those guys.
Nope. More.
Nope. Still not yet.
Getting close.
Yeah. Yep, there it
There it is.
Okay. All right. So I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on it, but there are other states, like Washington State is now introducing a bill to make the Gambling Commission weigh in on randomized loot box items. I really don't think this is going to happen, but I do think that we're going to see China's system adopted where everybody's disclosing what the actual percentages for loot boxes are. I'm with you, Matt. It's not gambling because you're still getting something.
Yeah.
But I see the other argument, and I think this could all just be avoided if the ESA were to be like, look, we've worked with all the developers, and here's the roadmap we're going to lay out to do this, because that's what the ESA does. So,
Japan does that already too, like with all the, because gacha stuff is huge in Japan.
Yep.
It all has the percentages.
The only other thing I could see that may come out of this, and it'd be interesting to see if someone messes around with this, but loot boxes are kind of the answer to, well, they're adopted for mobile really, but in the PC or in the PC console space, they're kind of the answer to not doing a season pass anymore. So it'll be interesting to see if, okay, you can buy loot boxes, and even if they list percentages or whatever, you know, you got a chance of drawing any of these types of items, or for $15.99 you can get all the tier 2 items, or for $25.99 you can get all the tier 1 and 2 items, and for $99.99 you can get all the tier 1, 2, 3, 4 items.
and I guess I didn't mention that, but there are actually loot boxes in DragonBall FighterZ. The interesting thing about them is that they give you so much money that it doesn't matter.
And the thing is, it's only the same with like Overwatch. It's only cosmetic stuff in there. Like, there's no gameplay boosts at all. It's purely like colors and lobby.
Yeah, lobby avatars.
And Dissidia has it too.
Yeah.
Where it's all like colors, and because another thing that's super big in Japan is like this like sticker or avatar collecting.
Yep.
So they've got, like, you know, your avatar that you can level up, and it makes it shinier, and, like, you know, it's super Japan, but they have that in Dissidia too, where you earn the treasures, but it's just cosmetic stuff.
And can I say for a moment how refreshing it is to watch Japanese wrestling fans who are respectful and quiet and think it's a real sport. I mean, they know it's not. I have to think they know it's not real, but they still treat it as a real sport because of the athleticism.
They treat it the same way they treat everything, where they don't like. How do I word it? They don't like. They like quiet in their public spaces, like. Mm-hmm. They don't, even people like on the bus or whatever, have their headphones low enough so no one else will hear it, and they don't like talking loudly in public and all that kind of stuff. So it translates over to even like sporting events.
I will say that I did not expect Jericho and Omega's match to get the reactions that it got. Jericho did some... I'm not going to go way deep into... I can see Matt's getting concerned already. I'm not going to go deep into wrestling, but if you weren't familiar... Chris Jericho, who is normally a WWE wrestler, Vince McMahon does not let WWE wrestlers wrestle for other federations. Jericho is a special case because he just signed short-term contracts because he's got his band, he does acting, he does all this other stuff. And so he's still considered a WWE wrestler, but he's not actually under contract with the WWE right now. And so he went to New Japan, which is one of the places that he started. So he wrestled in New Japan like 20 years ago. And he did a match with their current heavyweight champion, the American heavyweight champion, and it was rated a 5-star match and Jericho has never gotten a 5-star match his entire life. And he did some really funny heel stuff, and because they treat it like a sport, they don't like a lot of disrespect and stuff like that. Like, even heels are really like looked down on over there. Bad guys are looked down on in professional wrestling over there. And so for him to be playing the role of a heel and getting tremendous laughs from the Japanese audience, I thought was absolutely bonkers. And that was a really good match. You should really watch it. Jericho, Kenny Omega. That's all I'll say about it was a natural flow. And speaking of...
And Dave's not here to agitate you and take you further, so we can move on.
Yeah, we can move on. Speaking of, the XFL is coming back.
That thing that was around for 5 minutes is coming back for 5 more.
Yeah, for one season. Do we think anything's going to be different this time?
The cheerleaders' outfits will be skimpier.
I don't know that they will.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Miitomo is coming to an end, because who would have thought that a game where you can do nothing would not last?
Yeah.
Thanks Nintendo. Those were rumors and wrong. Fans got the leak of Brie Olsen's Captain Marvel universe outfit, and it's
Larson.
I always do that. Brie Larson. She's not an Olsen twin.
No.
Brie Larson, her Captain Marvel uniform, which was that of the Kree soldiers and that of Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, green and white. They thought it would be fun to Photoshop it to current colors. It looks really good. There's no whining involved. I'm sorry for people that expected whining to be involved, but there was no whining involved. They just wanted to do it. It was cool and it looked good. So we put the link up there.
That said, there has been a lot of whining online.
Yeah, there might be, but this was not that. This was just, hey, let's do something fun, and people went, yeah. This is, I think, my favorite, like, roll my eyes story of the week. DC Comics issued a apology because they made a kind of bad pun joke about their Doomsday Clock tie-in that they're running right now, where they introduced the Watchmen into the series, commenting on the fact that the real Doomsday Clock got pushed to 5 till midnight. So, I don't know. I think that people are being... I mean, I get it. It's serious. But that's when you need humor the most, in my opinion, is when it gets so serious. Why so serious?
Yeah, that seemed weird, but...
Yeah.
Meh.
So, on the heels of us talking about a few weeks back how it seemed like they were pulling all their resources from Unreal Tournament and Paragon so that they could work on Fortnite. Turns out, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're shutting down Paragon April 26th. The interesting thing is they are refunding every person who ever spent money on the game.
Yeah,
which
that's kind of crazy.
That's pretty classy, in my opinion.
It also tells you how much money they're making off of Fortnite.
Uh-huh. Yep. Exactly. Valiant Comics purchased by DMG Entertainment to turn it into movies, TV shows, etc. Matt, I know you never really read Valiant, right?
No, not really.
Actually, good characters, solid worlds, lots of great continuity. I would love to see this, kind of grow into something. We'll see. I don't know. it really depends on what their first couple movies are. You know, if they're low budget films, I don't think that's gonna hack it. But there's a lot of stuff. This is my other I've been good about drawing the controversy this week. So, The Greatest American Hero has been slated for a pilot order reboot, with the lead character being a Indian female who's having a midlife crisis, basically because she has not found what her place is in the world. I think it sounds fine. There are a lot of people on the social media that said, "Oh, I don't want any social justice warrior stuff. You know, why can't they just leave it be a guy?" I'm like, who cares?
Wait. Were they the same people who got pissed off that the doctor's a woman?
I don't think we've had anybody on our forums, on our social media, be pissed off about the doctor.
No, nobody's gotten on that. I'm more annoyed at the tonal change. I mean, the character from The Greatest American Hero, part of it is that he was just this goofy slacker, ne'er-do-well guy. You know, again, didn't really know his place in the world, but the description of this character comes off as angry drunk, not goofy ne'er-do-well.
I didn't get that. It says that she works. She is looking to find her place in the world. She goes out with friends, and she likes to drink. I think that sounds goofy.
There was something about struggling with her hair, and again, I could be completely wrong. I could be reading it completely wrong. That description is crap, basically, right? It's like the bar napkin idea concept. So again, it's kind of like I want to call it damage control. That's not what it was. Powerless. You know, it shifted so much from original concept to final product. You know, the two were almost unrecognizable. So we really don't know what this is going to be yet. But it's the internet. People love to react.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that I get why they may want to change the lead character to a female, because this is a good time to do that. If you want to do it, okay, sure. As long as the writing's good and we get more Greatest American Hero this way, I'm alright with it. Rather than, no, it's got to be exactly as it was and we get no more Greatest American Hero. Mitchell, did you ever watch Greatest American Hero?
No, I have not.
Matt, you are a failure as a father.
I don't think it's on anything. I've not noticed it, at least, but no, I didn't watch it religiously. I remember some episodes, but I didn't watch it religiously. So, I mean, I enjoyed what I saw of it, but it's not anything I've ever gone back and tried to catch up the whole thing in reruns. Was it 2 seasons? 2
seasons, yeah. and it was I preferred the more serious episodes because there were a lot of he was a goofball, so I'm actually kind of, if the writing's good, I'm kind of jazzed for this. I'm super on board.
What it's going to come down to is this really The Greatest American Hero modernized, where you can see it's the same show just with a slightly different take, and like you said, got good writing and good stories? Or is it a case of Batman versus Superman, where it should have just been called Angry Human Guy versus Angry Space Guy, and avoided the whole trappings of having that legacy of the characters behind them that they didn't really seem to line up with?
Yeah, I will be interested to see how they tackle that. You're right. I would rather be positive about the project and see it get made than not at all. And so we'll see.
That's fair enough.
We'll see. Boop, boop, boop. That's a rumor, so we'll skip that. The Xenogears soundtrack is getting a remaster. I'm actually super excited about that.
I know. I forgot. Is it vinyl only, or is it coming to other media as well?
I forgot. Oh, really? You can't find the server at Game Informer, huh?
No, that's interesting.
I've actually,
if I can find it.
I've seen this happen before. I wonder if oh, there it goes. There it goes. It went. It just took a while. Let's see. Blu-ray music disc.
That must be a Japan thing.
It is a Japan thing. Well, I mean, we'll be able to play it since it's not region locked. But yeah. it's a Blu-ray music disc, basically.
Yes, those exist.
Yes, those exist. Yeah,
let's have to see how much that is, because that's definitely something. That's another series. I cannot for the life of me figure out why that game hasn't been remastered or remade.
Square hates money.
Well, they've been publishing enough Final Fantasy stuff recently. You'd think they decide that they liked money, but there's a couple others I can't figure out why in the world.
Square Enix Montreal creative director leaves after his project gets canceled. It's the guy who designed Hyper Light Drifter, which is a great game. He decided that he's striking out on his own because he felt that after they canceled this project, Square was not the place he had kind of thought it to be, which is sad. But I think it does illustrate. I think one of the things that I have seen since I've moved out here is I've talked to a lot of developers, and the games industry is not easy to work in. You work a lot of long hours, sometimes for very little pay, and you do it because you love games. And
there's a lot of employee exploitation in the games industry, which is sad.
This is probably our big discussion topic, because it is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but it has been corroborated by multiple sources that Microsoft has looked at purchasing Electronic Arts as a way to solve its exclusivity games problems, in that it has no exclusive games. That would mean that Microsoft would buy Electronic Arts, and all the franchises that they currently have on multi-platform would instead be on Xbox only. Which I don't see how you don't piss everyone or half the people on the planet off by doing that. Because if you told all of Europe, oh, guess what? FIFA is only on the Xbox now, I'm pretty sure they would get a bunch of soccer hooligans together and attack Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one. I have to say it doesn't. I mean, EA is the studio that buys other studios, not the studio that gets bought. So I don't. That's kind of a weird one. I mean, there's a lot of difference between someone looking into something or exploring something and something that's ever actually going to happen. So, this could just be an indication that we see Microsoft really recognizing that they have a first-party problem and that they need to do something about it. I think EA is trying to eat the elephant all in one bite, and I don't think that's a good strategy for them. I mean, Microsoft can eat elephants all in one bite because, they've got more money than, the world. But I don't know that management-wise or publicity-wise that would go well for them. On the other hand, there's the folks that they got to has their Maddens and they got to has their FIFAs. So
yeah, when I read this article, I was like, would I even care? And the answer is probably not.
Unless they released a good Mass Effect or a good Dead Space game.
Yeah, if they Dragon Age, that might be the only thing I would miss. Or if they rebooted Dead Space, which, since Visceral doesn't exist anymore, is probably not going to happen ever.
I think that even though we, as kind of people who look at this stuff all the time, I mean, we overreact to it. I was thinking about it, and probably they'd get away with it just fine. I mean, you would have the vocal minority, which I think we would be a part of, saying
they still would have no Japanese support.
Well, I was actually thinking the opposite. This would actually finally be a way that Microsoft could get their foot in the door in Japan, because they would have FIFA only on Xbox. And that is a very popular game there. So I could see them actually maybe finally making a dent in that market. If the only way you could play FIFA is on Xbox, people would most likely buy Xboxes for FIFA. I was thinking
and I'm not even talking about that, though. Well, I guess it'd be a trickle-down effect because Japan is not the strong market it used to be. However, all the games that North America and Europe like are made by Japanese people.
Right.
And I mean, Nintendo is not going anywhere. It's staying on Nintendo. So it's, the Square Enixes and the Koei Tecmos and, like, those guys that are, like, PS4 only sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if more people started buying an Xbox, it's too late in the console's life now, so it would have to be, like, an Xbox XX3 or whatever they're going to call it in a PS5 era. Because they're not going to be starting to shift, like, we better start making Xbox games now. Like, they'll think about that on a console.
See, and I was thinking about this from a corporate perspective, in that, okay...
Well, Sony would try and stop it.
Well, Sony can't. They're not in the cash... They're not in a cash position to try and counter their offer or anything. Basically, what Microsoft would end up doing is... they would either do a hostile or not hostile buy of stock. And so at first I was like, well, that would not... why would Electronic Arts' shareholders agree to something like this? And the answer is because they're getting purchased probably at a premium for their stock. Their stock is then sold to Microsoft. And if Microsoft decides to slash their own internal revenues in half by dropping the PS4 versions of all their stuff, that's their prerogative. If they want to spend, $6 billion to buy EA and then make it so that half the revenue stream goes away, that's their prerogative. All they have to do is show their shareholders how that's building value, and they can argue it's building brand loyalty. And, I mean, even if they did that, it would affect their stock pretty much in no way, shape, or form. Right? They're still acquiring something, even if they're making less on it than what they had if they'd remained multi-console, multi-platform. Because
although it might be a more insidious plot to stay multi-platform, because then you're making money off of every copy that's sold on a different platform.
Yeah, but it seems like they're not super hip to do that. Certain certain special things like Minecraft, they did, but it doesn't seem like. I think they would actually approach it the other way. I mean, that's why they were looking at these three companies. Yeah. And I should clarify, Microsoft was the first one, Valve was the second one, which that one gives me heart tremors. And then the third one was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. That one seems the least likely, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because it doesn't fix their exclusivity issue. Yeah, they have one exclusive game if they buy them. Okay, great. That doesn't fix anything. Valve, if they buy Valve, that means Microsoft owns Steam and has a controlling interest in basically, 79% of the world's digital games delivery systems. I would die if they buy Valve. I would just have a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, there might be some antitrust issues there if they did that.
I don't think so, because they're still GOG. They're still Good Old Games, and the other startups. Heart Attack, or I can't remember what that new one is called. I just got an invite to it today. Disruptive or something like that. I'm now going through my email.
But there's an argument there, though, that would be consolidating enough of the power into one thing that it would destroy competitiveness. We'll see. Because all they have to do is not approve any of the other services apps for their app store and only approve Steam as an app for the app store after they go to app store only installs. And
Fanatical, that's the name of it. Fanatical is another Steam competitor. This will be interesting to watch and see if anything actually happens. but it was something that struck me, kind of like blindsided me, because I would have never thought that Microsoft would even consider doing something like that. And if they are considering Electronic Arts, is considering Activision out of the question.
That would actually be the more brutal one, because PlayStation has all the PlayStation First deals with Activision. If they swipe those out from underneath them, that would actually, to me, seem like it's a bigger snare.
Yep. We already talked about that. We don't need to talk about that. So the Heavy Rain lead designer has gone to Sega to work on a mature-rated, story-driven game. Please don't let it be Sonic.
That's what I was just gonna say. Dear God, that's how Shadow the Hedgehog got into doing.
Oh shoot! I'm actually kind of interested to see what it is, but I mean, I doubt we'll.
You want it to be Legacy of Kain.
I do want it to be Legacy of Kain. Hells to the mother trucking yes! I want it to be Legacy of Kain. That would be amazing. Matt, you just made my day. And then you just
our next issue.
Yeah. So Kate, did you watch Gotham?
No.
Why don't you watch Gotham?
Because it's bad.
A pile of flaming garbage, perhaps?
Yes, that is exactly correct. Those are all correct.
Watch a loved one being autopsied.
Yes. These are all correct answers. So what if I told you? Here's the... Okay, so imagine this, Kate. We're going to take Lex Luthor and Lois Lane, and we're going to pair them up X-Files style and put them in Metropolis, where they solve strange goings-ons of the week with no Superman.
That's what's gonna happen?
That is the premise to Metropolis.
I thought it was just gonna be like Lois is a reporter and Lex is a businessman, and it's like sowing the seeds of what Metropolis is like before Superman. Wow,
it's the Fringe
stupider.
Files.
That's even stupider.
Yeah. This is like...
I was like thinking it's like, okay, I could maybe watch the first 5 episodes of that, because the first very, 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 very first of Gotham was pretty good, and then it went so off the rails it went into outer space. But this sounds stupid.
And mark my words, they're gonna have Lex and Lois fall in love, only to break them up, and then eventually, when Superman does come into the picture, it'll be this awkward, love triangle thing, and I'm like, oh, just shoot me now and get it over with. I don't need...
Now, is this just a red herring to make the concept for Krypton actually look more appealing?
I'm thinking so. I'm thinking so. Because suddenly, Krypton I want to watch. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm Gotham from day one.
I'll be right back.
Kate can't even contain her anger. She's just gone.
I literally have to poo, and that's all.
That's the reaction that Gotham makes people have.
Oh man.
Gotham was such a bad idea. I said from day one, you can't take all these Batman villains and put them into the picture before you have Batman, because that makes no sense. The timetables would be all wrong. I want to say this right now, and this is a spoiler, okay? So I'm telling you now, if you don't want to know anything about the Batman comics, then skip ahead 2 minutes and we should be off it by then. But if you're still watching, if we went by the Gotham timetable, by the time Jim Gordon gets the Bat Robot, he would be 97 years old. There's no way he could be Batman, even in a power mech suit, if he's 97 years old. Because that's how old he would freaking be. Because Batman's got to be like 35 about the time that they are depicting him, somewhere in there. He's definitely not in his 20s. He's definitely in his 30s. And so Gordon's already like 40 in Gotham. And so it's like, what? you're gonna make him 79 years old before he gets into the Batmech? I don't think so.
Well, and the whole concept, I got soured in season 1 because the whole concept of Jim Gordon is he's an untouchable.
Right.
He's this golden boy that's never been soured, never been corrupted. And within like a couple of episodes, he's already compromised, and it's not even the same character anymore. So when it went completely off the rails in the end of season 1, and then the first couple episodes of season 2 is just ridiculous.
I tried. The wife and I watched it, and I actually liked what they did with Penguin. That was fine. That was
an interesting
cool.
take.
Yeah, it was an interesting take. But yeah, they went batshit crazy at the end of season 1 to the point that I was laughing.
There was nowhere to recover from.
No, there was nowhere to recover from, and
ruining Freeze as badly as they did was the last straw for me. That was
ruining Babs the way they did is like unforgivable for me. So whatever, it's so angry, and so this. I mean, I just look at it. There's not even like promotional material for it. I look at comics with the headline Metropolis above it, and I just get angry. And it's like, this is going to be a terrible show. I really do think that Sci-Fi said, listen, the reaction we're getting for it's exactly what you said. The reaction we're getting for Krypton is not good. Let's introduce something that's way worse so people will suddenly look at Krypton in a positive light.
This is that teenager plot from sitcoms where you say something really bad. Oh no, that didn't happen. This is what happened. That never works. But although this has resurrected that whole thing that I never understood, it's the hate for Smallville. I like Smallville. Yes, it has bad seasons. I don't get me wrong. There are 2 or 3 seasons in there that are really not good. But overall, I liked Smallville.
I liked Smallville. I actually even liked Chloe most of the time, sometimes not. I had no problem with it other than the fact that they never got Superboy. If you're going to do Smallville, why would you not do Superboy? Because that's actually where Smallville came from. But I digress. Yeah. So, talking about things that should be made that aren't, whereas we're getting things that shouldn't be made that are, Bill and Ted's 3rd movie is done. Well, I mean, it has a fully fleshed out script. It has actors. It has directors. It has production team. All on board, all ready to go. All the stars are ready and willing to appear. They just can't find funding for the movie. And I'm like, why is this not being crowdsourced? You know, if you're going to have a something that's crowdsourced, this seems like it would be it. You know, at least to start getting the money to show the interest to obtain the funding, if nothing else, right? It's so weird. Because this is an important question. Mitchell, have you ever seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Nope.
Matt, you are a failure as a father.
Yeah, I have to own that one.
I thought that the movie was absolutely ludicrous. I did not like it until that one thing in the movie, which I don't know why I'm not spoiling a 20+ year old movie now, but still, until that one thing in the movie, and then they blew my mind, my nose bled, and I suddenly saw what they were doing, and it made the whole thing brilliant. And ever since then, even the second one, I was so on board with the second one. It was like that first, 47 minutes of the first one never happened. Might even have been longer than that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It was like an hour and a half movie. No, that's about right. Yeah, 40, maybe 47, 50. Yeah, somewhere in the halfway mark. Mitchell, you need to find this and watch it, by the way.
Okay, I'll try.
We'll find something.
Okay.
Fair warning: the graphics and the effects are not going to hold up.
Okay.
They weren't good at the time.
They weren't good at the time, so they're not going to be good now.
No, here's a serious question though. Do you think if all the stuff and this is, I don't want to get into the social stuff, but if all the stuff with Weinstein hadn't come up and happened, do you think this movie would already have funding and be being filmed? Because that seems like the studio that would take this and run.
Maybe. But the thing that I don't get is, okay, that I actually do agree with that. I think that Weinstein Company would have picked it up and run with it if Harvey Weinstein was still there. But here's the thing. You've got Keanu Reeves, who is arguably one of the largest A players in Hollywood.
Definitely one of the most loved.
Yeah, and why he can't get a studio to take a chance on this when it has proven results in the past and the draw of one of the largest A-list actors. And, by the way, I have read the script and it's good. I mean, I've read parts of the script and it's really good. I actually really like what they're doing with it. The reasons that they've been rejected is because everybody wants to reboot it. And nobody on the cast or crew or scriptwriters want to do that. They want to tell the story of middle-aged Bill and Ted going back in time to talk to teen Bill and Ted and the absence of Rufus. And they've figured out a way to get George Carlin to act in this movie, solely using modeling and footage from the original movies. And
as long as it doesn't come out Tarkin face.
Right, well, yeah. But still, I mean, I'd be down for it even if it was Tarkin. It'd be Carlin face.
Carlin face, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I would be yeah, it seems weird that this can't find footing. Again, a reboot. I think it needs to tie up the story. I mean, 2 left it in a good spot, right? But I think, yeah, you need that close of the loop. What happened with the Wild Mustangs? What is middle-aged Bill and Ted's life? I think that's a good conclusion. You can reboot it after that if you want. But
yeah, did they actually achieve world peace or not?
Right.
Which I believe the story is not. So I mean that's interesting because it creates a paradox loop, right?
Right.
If they don't achieve world peace, then Rufus can't go back in time to tell them that they need to go on this trip to achieve world peace. It's weird. I mean, I love the implications, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So this gets us into a bunch of the earnings calls because it is that season. The first one was with EA. In their earnings call, they said that Battlefield had only sold 9 million units. Battlefield 2, or Battlefront 2. Yeah, I always do this. Battlefront 2 had only sold 9 million units. Versus,
its goal was 10, yeah.
And the original one sold 13.
Yeah.
In the same time period. So it is selling less than expected. They also announced that they would be bringing the loot boxes back in a couple months' time. Which
I think it's funny that's like only 9 million.
Yeah, I know,
in this day and age, that's still really good.
Yeah. And the other piece of interesting news to come out of it was that they spent an inordinately long amount of time talking about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And basically, when they were going through the calls, one of the investors asked, do you think it's because of PlayerUnknown's Battleground and their basically battle royale scenario? And are you going to incorporate that into your games? And they didn't say no. They said, we're looking at what makes that style of gameplay unique and engaging, and we will probably take those aspects and put it into our game. So Don't know exactly what that means, but that was interesting. And also, they did confirm that Anthem would be pushed back to 2019. They said it's not a delay. They said there is going to be a new Battlefield game this year. And so it does not make sense to launch Battlefield and then Anthem directly after it. Even though that's exactly what they did with the last Battlefield and Titanfall 2. Within a week of each other. So, interesting stuff. Konami had their call. I prefaced this one and I thought it was funny. Looking at their numbers, Konami hates gamers, but gamers apparently don't hate Konami.
What are they even making money off of?
So, they still are selling all the Metal Gear Solid 5 stuff. They are still selling the pre-orders now for what's the survival game? Metal Gear Survive. Yeah, Metal Gear Survive. That actually leads their games division leads all of their divisions in profits right now.
What are their other divisions?
Oh,
Pachinko?
they have the Pachinko division, but they also have the gyms and I don't remember how they split it out here. 1 second. Yeah, health and fitness, gaming and systems, which is the Pachinko ones. Amusement. Oh, no, I think amusement's actually the Pachinko ones. And then eliminations. But digital entertainment is their games division. And as you can see, it's head and shoulders above anything else. They're sitting at 89.7 billion yen. Billion yen, which translates out to like $89 million. So their games division is doing well. Now, the question is, once Metal Gear 5 moves out of the life cycle, which technically it never does, but there's always that point to diminishing returns, right? Eventually it's going to be off of everybody's radar. The question will be, what will the numbers for Metal Gear Survive look like? Will they be sustainable without Kojima? And will it perform as well? And if the answer to all those is no, then we'll see that reflected in the sales, and then we'll see if Konami changes course.
Do you think they follow up Survive with actually a Metal Gear Solid 6?
That would be my guess. I feel sorry for those poor developers who have to come up with a Kojima-style story. But yes. Capcom had its earnings call. Resident Evil 7, one of the big winners, 4.8 million units last year. Monster Hunter selling 5 million units just in its first few days of sales. So that's going to be huge. And then Marvel vs. Capcom being the soft numbers on that report of just 1 million units being sold. 1.2 million units, I believe, was the exact number. And when you look at this, the silly part is they spent less on Capcom Ultimate, Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate, than they did the DLC schedule for Street Fighter V. And I don't understand why they would be surprised about the numbers for the game selling like that when that's the case. If you put money into the development of the game, then you're going to get more people attracted to it.
Yeah,
Instead,
they probably thought the license would carry it.
Well, okay, it might have if you hadn't contracted Rob Liefeld to do your character design models.
Yeah, because they have no necks.
They are 100% Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. When Spider-Man looks like the Hulk, you've got a problem. When Black Widow looks like the Hulk, you've got a problem.
Now, what's interesting in this call report from them is that what's not there. There's no mention of Street Fighter in their report.
They have a separate call for that one.
I don't think so, because that's tied into their net sales. And so I'm kind of thinking that it hasn't moved. I really think that the needle hasn't moved for them, and they must still be sitting at right around 1.5 to 2 million copies sold. Because if there had been...
I think that is absolutely true, because the people who are buying the DLC are the people who already own that game. It's not bringing in any new people. The people who like it, support it. Everyone else is like, oh, I forgot that game existed.
And they might gain some now that 5 Arcade is
right.
out, but that won't reflect in this year's. They'll reflect in 2018 or the next quarter.
Yeah. What was interesting in theirs that I thought was worth noting, which is why I wanted to come into it, is their intellectual property licensing has actually gone up 36.9% over the last year, which means they are licensing out the stuff for Street Fighter and whatever to other companies in esports divisions and making money off of that as a revenue stream, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, you got UFS, is back in Street Fighter now, so I'm sure that's part of that.
I bet that is, exactly. Thank you for reading my mind and making that transition, because that's exactly where I was going.
Wouldn't it be Street Fighter's back in UFS? Not UFS is in Street Fighter?
Well, UFS is licensing Street Fighter, so therefore that's why that number would show up there.
Well, right. Yeah.
It's so funny because it's like you talking to you. I'm sorry. Nintendo had some of the most impressive numbers this year, or this quarter, I should say.
And if they would have been able to have hardware in stores, it would have been even better.
Yeah, it would have been even better, yeah. They shipped 14.86 million Switch units. Now, that's not sold through, but still, that's impressive. They've increased their prediction to 18 million by March. But this is the stuff that boggled my mind. First off, if you look at the Wii U, it took them 10 months to sell more than the entire life cycle of the Wii U.
The poor Wii U.
They sold 52 million units of software for the Wii U. That's an attach rate of just under 5 per Wii U. That's amazingly good. I think 2 to 3 is the industry average. So people who buy Switches are buying tons of software with it. But then there's this little guy right here. Talk about the engine that could and keeps on going. 72 million 3DSs in the wild, selling 360 million units of software.
Everybody buys 4 copies of Pokemon.
Yep. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Especially Turo, because he needs to
trade them.
Yep.
Pokemon.
Got to trade them all. Damn Turo.
If there's going to be a Switch Pokemon game, that is what you and whatever collective family members you have to convince to get for Christmas is the Switch and Pokemon.
2 new colors of DualShocks. I'm actually with Dave on this one. I like the original blue better than this dark one.
Yeah, I like the gunmetal or whatever the other one is pretty well, but
let's see if they
the other color. It does not like. It does not like linking.
Me. Yeah, it does not.
The basic function of a browser, following hyperlinks. Who needs that?
No, nobody needs that.
Oh, Style Streets for the win.
You know what this reminds me of? In college, and I'm not joking. In college, our college was so ancient it had a fax machine, and this was the internet. This was what every website looked like.
What was that? What was that? Links, I think. Is that what it's called?
Yep. Links, so there's the blue one. It's good, but if it was more metallic, I'd be more interested.
It goes well with if you have the Uncharted 4 version of the PS4, it'll go well color-wise with that.
That one.
Yeah, that's the one I was like.
Yeah, that's the gunmetal. But to be honest, it really doesn't look that much different from the silver one, which I also have.
I want to get the gold one.
Here, look.
This is
the silver one. The only thing that's different, really, is the middle section's a little darker at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, on the black, where you have white, it's black, and it's a matte finish instead of a shiny finish.
Yeah.
I want to get the gold one, but at the same time, I can't justify spending like $80 after tax on a controller. Have a controller.
You got to catch those on sale.
Or if you Turo trade them on sale. Yay!
It's not as fun when he's not here.
I know. The PS Plus games for February have been announced. Matt, why don't you do the honors on this since you...
I'm going to have to pull the article up. But so, after months, how long has the PS4 been out? 4.5 years now?
Yes.
After 4.5 years of rabid fan screaming for knack to be part of the PS Plus lineup, it's here! Okay, seriously though, as anyone who's wanted to play knack over the last 4.5 years hasn't bought it by now. I mean, this game has been like $2 on sale before. But hey, I had fun with it. It's not a great game, but it's not bad. It's a good set of trophies for you to pick up if you're a trophy guy. And it's not terribly long. So I do want to pick up Knack 2 someday because I do like the brand enough to pick up the sequel. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. The other PS4 specific game is Rime. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's capital R, lowercase I, capital M-E.
Yep.
So it's a third-person adventure puzzle game that I've looked at buying several times but never pulled the trigger on. So now that turned out to be a good choice. As for the rest of the lineup, you have Spelunker HD for the PS3 and Mugen Souls Z for the PS3 also. I'm trying to remember what Mugen Souls was.
You mean Mugen?
Yeah, I'm probably saying that wrong. It's fair enough. It's a Japanese, so yeah, that would be a G, not a J.
Mugen Ryu.
Prediction number 2 for 2018, PS3 support for the free games stops.
Yeah, I would say that probably has to happen soon. Probably also the Vita.
You shut your mouth. You shut your dirty mouth. You will not stop.
The fact that they're even still doing the PS3 and the Vita is like, if you don't have a PS4 yet, I'd consider yourself pretty lucky that they're even still doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so Mugen Souls Z. Oh, come on. I'm trying to view the Steam page and it's age gating me. It's a sequel, apparently. It's an SRPG. Chibi. Yeah. Chibi Japanese SRPG. Kind of has what's that one where all the girls are Neptunia, where they're all console based, kind of that kind of vibe to it.
Hyperspace Dementia Neptunia.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. I just want to say that I've listened impartially to the last minute and a half of talking and words being said, and it mirrors a conversation Daniel and I were having about DPS on the slots using 360 orbs and plasma infused torpedoes consoles. It's like sometimes games have like this jargon that is just ridiculous. So sorry.
I oddly followed what you were saying though.
Yeah, I know.
Paid just enough of that game to understand what you were saying. And then on the Vita we have Exile's End, which I have no idea what that is. And then also Grand Kingdom, which is cross-buy, so you will also get that for your PS4. Also, additionally, you can still download Starblood Arena. I did claim it, even though I don't have a fancy hat for my PS4. So if I ever do get a fancy hat for my PS4, I will be able to give that a go. And if anyone is still playing Gems of War, that mobile port,
yeah, I am,
Loot Fest thing, there is going to, starting next week, be a PlayStation Plus starter pack, including the No Bend Brothers troop.
Nice.
10 rare gem keys and 2,500 souls. So I stopped playing that forever ago, but I might claim that just in case I decide to pop it in again. But yeah,
you should talk about the Player's Choice Awards since we're right there.
Player's Choice Awards. Which one was that?
That's the ones where the people can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, the PlayStation blog, at least the North American one, you can get by going to blog.playstation.com. That takes you to your region's blog. If you're in the U.S., that'll go to the North America, or Canada, they'll go to the North American one. And one of the features they're putting on there is called the Player's Choice Award. So every month, the last day of the month, they will open a poll on the blog to let you vote on what you think was the best game of that previous month. They'll leave it open for 7 days. They'll conclude voting, and then they'll have a special feature about the game that won. There's no long-term plans. I assume they'll do something with this, come game of the year, end of the year time. There'll probably be a final vote. They'll have all 12 months winners, and maybe they'll get a sale on the store, whichever one wins or something, the end of the year. That's just me guessing, but yeah, it's an interesting little way to try to get more traffic to the blog and get some user feedback, because otherwise the only time they ever got user feedback is when they get to the end of the year and they do the Game Choice Awards at the end of the year. So this is an interesting little thing. It'll see if it how it plays out.
So Microsoft had their call today as well. Just before the show, actually, they published the results of their earnings calls. And basically the short answer was the hardware sales were up with the launch of the Xbox One X, but their sales for software have diminished pretty materially from the previous year, which is, again, kind of feeds back into our discussion of earlier. Obviously, the lack of exclusive titles is hurting them. They're going to have to change something in what they do, so maybe they buy their way out of it.
So that almost means that the vast majority of the X sales were upgrades rather than new
That
users.
would be my thought, yeah. They did not talk about attach rates for the One X, which I was... I don't know why I'm even not bothering to click on them, but yeah. They did not have attach rates, I don't think, in this call.
Yeah,
or
probably.
Talk about specific... let's see. Oh,
I just want to say,
it's a webinar. Yeah.
in this whole, in the same vein, DragonBall FighterZ has sold more than 2 million units already.
Yes.
And that is more than double what Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite sold.
Yep.
And is equal to what Street Fighter V has sold in its entire lifetime.
Yep.
And as the person who's posted is saying, aesthetics and content are important.
Yes. I do believe we will see the Bandai Namco earnings call probably sometime this week or next week.
Well, it's probably going to be big because Tekken did very well.
Yep.
And next year's going to be big because Soul Calibur will probably do very well as well.
So Kevin Feige finally chimed in about when we might be able to see X-Men joining the MCU. He said, of course, what he said was, oh, it's probably not going to happen. Don't even worry about it right now. Because of course he'd say that, because they want to surprise people if it's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know why I even reported on that, because it's... But this is probably the most interesting earnings thing that popped up today. As of last year, $100 billion was driven in game sales. So the games industry generated $108.4 billion last year. What kills me is that mobile games were $59.2 billion of that chunk.
Oh, that makes me sick.
Yep. Which also means, when you think about it, that mobile is officially the largest platform. Oh, that was something we kind of glazed over. All those earning reports, by the way, from the Japanese companies like Nintendo, their largest territories, the United States, in sales. So Japan is no longer, the mecca even for Japanese game sales. It's all United States based now, North America.
And is number 2 Europe?
Number 2, it depended on which company was. I think Nintendo Japan was number 2. But for the others, Europe was number 2. PC was $33 billion, and consoles were $8.3 billion.
And that's why we keep getting the things that say consoles are dead, even though consoles are performing better now than they have.
They have in quite a while. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. There was a statistic in here that I wanted to see that showed that, yes, both the PC and mobile sectors were all driven by free-to-play titles. In fact, 82 billion was what was spent just on free-to-play titles alone. So if you thought
free-to-play game again,
why? It's not going to make a difference. They're here to stay.
I know, but it just makes me ill.
The interesting part about that is the total money spent on mobile titles was $14 billion higher than the year prior, meaning that it was a 31% year-on-year growth. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
So much for the free and the free-to-play.
Well, when you think about it realistically, most people don't spend... And they only spend like a small amount on a... They might spend like $5 on a mobile game or nothing.
I suppose that's a lot of ad revenue.
Is the 1 or 2%. Every game's got it that maybe 10 people who spend like $100 a month on it.
Let me tell you, I am that Star Trek player. Star Trek Online, I am one of their whales. I don't spend $100 a month, but I spend more than the average person. And when you consider that I have a lifetime subscription for both games, it does make me a little sad in my heart.
But yeah, so like each game has got like 5 U's.
Yep.
Right.
So they're generating most of the income. Most of the people aren't spending a dime on these games.
Yeah. And I imagine that's got to include their ads earnings too from the free versions of the game that have ads in it. So, you know, that's just another vector for it.
Well, and the funny part is that, like, for friends that come to play with me on Star Trek Online, because I've spent all this money on the game, they don't have to. Because I give them stuff that makes them, you know, top tier powered and able to go do this and that and the other, and they don't have to drop a dime on it. So I guess in a way it kind of evens out, but still, yeah. Any other news items that I missed, or
one thing that hit late just before the podcast is Nintendo has announced Mario Kart Tour, which is a mobile offering that will appear in the fiscal year ending March 20. Will appear sometime in the fiscal year, which ends in March 2019. So sometime in the next year, we're going to have Mario Kart on our phones.
I'll play it.
My wife will probably play it.
I won't, but I'm a curmudgeon.
Well, that's going
you're definitely not part of mainstream gaming society. You're living in you're living in Victrolas, and
you know, it makes me sad. It makes my heart hurt a little bit, because I remember when Matt used to get online on a regular basis and play games on a regular basis online, and then someone hurt him. I don't know who it was or what happened, and he was like, online? No, I'm not doing online ever again. So I feel bad, whatever it was. Maybe it was me. Well,
what it was, we no longer lived in the same time zone. Really, that's
fair. That's fair.
That's a large part of what happened.
That is fair. But you know, I constantly am like, man, I wish you would play Star Trek Online.
Now it's just now it's just time. I have a hard time dedicating as much time to a game like that as it requires to do, right? I mean, if I had the ability to, I would love to play through all the story content on that. I would never drop a dime on it, even if you weren't helping me, just because that's not the way I would play it. But at the same time, I haven't played Resident Evil 7 yet. I haven't played Wolfenstein 2 yet. I haven't played Tekken 7 yet. You know, there's all these games from even just last year. And it doesn't look like this year is going to be that much slower than last year. A little bit slower, but not much. Nope. So, you know, I just finished God of War 3 2 years ago on the PS3 that I bought launch day. So... That copy of Dragon Age Inquisition is still sitting on my shelf collecting dust.
Hey, look at it this way though. You finished it just in time for the new God of War.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it actually. So that was kind of why I wanted to see where it ended up, to see where it picks up.
Quick poll while I think of it. How many of us are going to get the Shadow of the Colossus remake?
I can't say yes for certain.
I know you want it, Mitchell. I know you want it.
I want it, but I can't have it because poor college child.
Well, there are birthdays that happen during the summer when someone would be,
But then what am I gonna do with it? It's gonna sit, and I'm gonna be like, I want to play it, but I'm stuck in.
Well, during the
Mitchell's
sama
totally pulling.
I know.
Thing. Maybe if I stand by the case and look sad, someone will buy it for me.
Well, I guess if I play it over the summer, but I mean, if you've seen any of the gameplay for it, I mean, not even in the 4K mode, but just in the normal graphics mode, it's beautiful. I mean, it's amazing.
See, so I want to keep my voice down so she can't hear me. My wife is super excited about it, but she knows nothing about the game and how freaking sad it is. And so I'm trying not to say a word about it because she's gonna be so pissed when I kill the first Colossus, and she's gonna see it fall in the way that it falls and hear the melancholy music and watch it. And I'm gonna lose my freaking mind when she goes. It's gonna be.
It's like someone who doesn't know they're about to watch the Red Wedding, and they're like, I can't wait for this.
No, that's exactly you got it. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. So I'm super excited about it.
Oh my gosh, wow, you'll be sleeping on the couch that night.
I'm guaranteed
I
she
probably
will cry.
will get it. It's just like I haven't been playing as many games lately, and I have so many other games to play.
Yeah,
so I probably will.
I do think that the price point is wrong for this. It's set at $40. It really should be $30. This is the third freaking time I'm
at
buying
least.
it, and I mean, I get they're doing a ton of work on it. I'm appreciative of that. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I have never finished this damn game.
Seriously?
No. I never finished
I've never finished it either.
Really?
I made it farther last time.
Shame.
The first time I only made it through 4. The last time I made it through, I think, 8 or 9. So I'm pretty sure this time I'll make it all the way through.
Mitchell's judging you. He's judging you.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. That's fine. You can judge me. It's
Okay, I understand if you got stuck after Bosseron, but
see, he even knows the name.
Yeah, I know. He was showing off his nerd skills right there. +1 for Mitchell.
the turtle. If you get stuck at the turtle, fine, because the turtle is evil.
Yeah.
If you get stuck at Magus at the last final freaking Colossus, fine. That's Magus. He/she is. But besides the point, boy.
I think you can no longer introduce the podcast as a hardcore gamer here. I think he's got to drop that.
Yeah,
one.
I guess. I mean,
I've even beaten the game more than once.
Yeah, well, but there are games
Also,
you have not beaten that I have, so it's not like it's
But
just
this is one of those games, though.
This is one of those games, like, if you haven't played it, then it's just like, really?
There's a difference. It's not.
There's a lot of games that Mark has not beaten.
This is true.
This is very true. I have the attention span of a gnat on crack. Everybody knows this. And to be fair, I have put like a lot of time in with the game. It's not like I have never played it or anything like that. It's just that I get on rolls where I will go beat 2 or 3 of the Colossi, and then I set it down because something else came up, and then I don't go back to it. And then I'll come back and I'll do 1 or 2 more, and then I never come back. And so I think this time, if I have an audience with me who will be crying, her eyes bawling her eyes out every time I kill. But yeah, she's gonna be like, I think that will propel me to finish the game.
Or or you can do your Colossi a week, and it's a new show, and it'll last you 16 weeks, and there you go.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
I know the YouTuber that I was watching. He does 2 Colossi an episode, and the episodes are about half hour. But that's with him talking and wandering a bit as well. Wandered. So yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I do have to complain about one thing.
What?
So, you guys all know about live.playstation?
Thing.
One thing. Then I'm done. I won't complain anymore. I promise. So you know the website live.playstation.com?
Yes.
I think so.
So that's the site where, if you don't know, during things like PSX, they'll have quests where you watch a video, go to a website, do stuff, and then you get a code for a theme or an avatar or some stupid thing, right?
Nice.
So during PSX this last time, they had one for Shadow of the Colossus. And Mitchell knows what the reward for that was because it's been his theme on his PS4 profile on the PS4 here at the house since then. So today, in preparation for the launch, they launched another quest for a theme with a different name. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll log in quick. I'll watch the 2 videos, which I didn't really watch. I just let them run in the background. And I claim my code for the thing. So I get home tonight. It's in my themes folder. I download it. I install it. It's the exact same freaking theme. They just gave it a different name.
Is it playing any music or anything? Because I know this one doesn't.
I didn't check to see if it had the different like keytones or a different background track or not. But visually, it's the exact same theme.
I mean, it's still an awesome theme, but
yeah, you should write in and complain about your free thing that you got.
Well, I got the same. See, this is the problem. It's blind draw. It's loot box. It's card packs, right? I drew the card and I got the same card twice. I can't really complain because I still got something. But
exactly,
if they had called it the same thing, at least I would have known it was the same theme and I wouldn't have had to worry about it.
If you would have checked the drop tables, you would have seen it's the same.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's a reprint of a theme.
That's right. It's a reprint of a theme.
It's got a different name.
Oh my God, I'm not sure I can handle this brave new world we've thrust ourselves into here.
Bad.
You know the funny thing, though. What were we talking about the other day about those amiibo things for PlayStation?
Right. Tokaku. Yeah.
Yeah. They should have use those to give you like an animated avatar or level you up somehow or something like they should have done.
There should have been a code in every pack or something that got you something.
Reggie was yelling at me. He's like, I don't understand why everybody's comparing them to Amiibo. And
because they look exactly like
I said, Reggie, it's because I think we live in a post-Amiibo world, right? Before Amiibos had launched, you could create figurines that did nothing. Fine, that's their purpose. But this is being published by a game company. Why wouldn't you put something that interacts with your game into it? Because we know that they can be the same price as without. So it's kind of a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I'm still confused as to why Reggie Fils-Aimé would ask me why we couldn't just have figures, but whatever, it's all good.
All right, but important thing, there's a crux in the new Shadow of the Colossus though for my dad. It's got photo mode.
Oh yeah, yes. I saw it. It's got an insane photo mode.
Yes, it does.
It's got a photo mode.
Hey, just because I took more photos in
Horizon Zero Dawn,
then
this game is
pictures you have of your children. That's the answer. That's the finish of that sentence.
Yeah, that's actually probably not wrong. What was it, Mitchell?
But I was gonna say that arguably, in a way, it's a different style than Horizon. But in a way, I'd almost say it's prettier. Like
it's actually very similar to the one that was implemented in the Uncharted 4 engine.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, it actually kind of is. But it's actually like live time. So if you're like fighting the Colossus or something, and it like strikes a really fast pose. I think there's even a quick button to activate the camera mode. So if it's like in a flash instant where you want to capture something, I think you can do that.
Yeah, I think you can hit the share button, and then whatever it captured at that instant, you can then load into the photo editor.
But yeah, it's really cool what I saw of the photo mode that the YouTuber was messing around with. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. Along with Monster Hunter Skyrim Edition.
Yes, Monster World.
That's going to bring us to final thoughts then.
Final thoughts.
But before we get to final thoughts, this is the part where we like to thank all of our patrons. So we'd like to, if you donate at the $5 level or above, we give you a shout out here. So thank you to Regina, Naomi, Bobby, Pat, not that person, Justin, and who am I forgetting my sixth one?
I don't know who you said not that person to, so I don't know. Ian?
No. It's why am I drawing a blank? Patreon.com/Gamersledge. Well, regardless, we thank you for patronage, and then if you'd like to get your name on the end of every show that we do, you can simply donate at the $1 level, like Arturo does. So thank you, Arturo, which is not Turo, different person. Yeah. So yeah, that'll bring us to final thoughts. Let's start with you, Mitchell. Final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. Really looking forward to Shadow of the Colossus. I'm hoping to get that at some point, despite not owning a console of my own.
Too bad Drunk Dave's not here. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of games that are coming out this year, or that have already come out this year, but seems like it's going to be a good year for games. Alright, that's all I gotta say.
John, thank you, John. He's going to be like, you forgot me, you son of a gun. Alright.
Well, he'd actually have to show up every once in a while to tell you that.
He does have to show up to tell me that. Kate, how about you? Final thoughts?
Since I've been playing Final Fantasy IX a little bit, I just gotta say that while there are some problems with that game, it gets a lot more of a bad rap than it deserves. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, and I think it would benefit a lot from a remake to get rid of the issues that it has, which could be easily fixed, i.e. the speed of the battle system and the big head graphics. But there's a lot of everyone's like, oh, Vivi's like a super, like the best character, and he is, but there's a lot of other really good characters in there. Zidane's a great lead character, and there's a lot of things that
I like Steiner.
Yeah, he's a great comic relief character because he's like funny in a way that's not jokey, which is something that they don't often have in Final Fantasy games, where he's the comic relief because he's so serious. But yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff in that game, and it gets overlooked, and I think it would do great with a remake, and even just looking at like Dissidia, what Zidane and Kuja's remodels look like with more realistic body proportions. They look great. So, free Final Fantasy IX, I guess.
I have to say, I am not, I want to say this clearly. I am not disparaging your love of that game, but that game was totally not for me. Dissidia NT. I just could not get into it, get into the system. It just seemed really frustrating to me.
Which is funny because I find it very easy.
I think
that's the problem. It's easy, so it didn't require spreadsheets or $40 in Reddit to figure out. So he can't do it.
Yeah, I will tell you that just for Star Trek Online alone today, I have been in 6 spreadsheets, just from the time I got off work until right now. So, you know,
maybe you should check out Opera Omnia instead of Cydia.
Maybe.
But I have to agree with Kate on the Final Fantasy IX. Yeah, I think it could benefit from a remake. I mean, keep the turn-based system because I like turn-based systems, but for RPGs, but
Unfortunately, I think they're gone in terms of just modern game design.
yeah.
But
But-
I like Zidane better than Tidus
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of being a main character. Like, he's a really great main character.
Why? All of a sudden, I've never heard it before, like college or like my last year of high school. But you're the second person I've heard people call Titus Tidus.
Tidus
That's
is the
because-
Japanese.
Pronounced.
Pronunciation,
correct
but I
pronunciation.
refuse to use it. That's why you've never heard it that way.
Yeah, Tidus is the Japanese pronunciation. The American version is Titus, but yeah, Tidus is how you would say it in Japanese. So ergo,
But it
vis-a-vis
fit better with
concordance.
cloud, squall, Titus. You know, it
No,
fit better in
Tidus,
English.
it's because Tidus is the Okinawan word for sun.
Yeah,
Ah.
it's also the same thing between Eris and Aerith. So yeah.
Which
Matt,
is kind of funny that they changed her name in Kingdom Hearts 2 to be her Japanese name in the English.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I have a couple just because I swore I put this in the news feed and I didn't, and I forgot, I guess. We got our first trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp this week,
I liked
which
it.
I totally forgot was dropping this year, which means we have two definitely major Marvel movies and a third one dropping in the same year. Holy crap, Batman. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I showed it to my other son tonight because he hadn't seen it yet, and he was pretty flat-faced until the giant Hello Kitty Pez dispenser, which he lost and said, I need to see this movie right now.
My wife did the exact same thing. That's where she lost it too.
I totally forgot who was playing Ghost, and that actress. I'm very much liked her performance in Killjoys and shoot, I forgot the other thing she was in. But anyway, I enjoy her performances quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see what she does with Ghost. If she'll get any FaceTime or if she'll be in the mask the whole time, I don't know.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. And then Altered Carbon, the Netflix series, hits this weekend. I was totally going to get the book read before the series hits. I haven't even bought the book, so that's obviously not happening.
What's the other one?
Mute.
Mute. Man.
Yeah, that's another one that's by the director of Moon.
And then there's the one on Amazon.
The Electric Dream.
Yeah, Electric Dreams. It's like cyberpunk renaissance right now.
Yeah, the fact that CD Projekt Red isn't dropping Cyberpunk this year, they're missing the wave, man. They're missing the wave. But yeah, it's a lot of really good stuff coming up here. Haven't even bought my tickets for Black Panther yet, so I'm not even sure when we're going to get into that. But
make sure to contact me when.
Yeah, I know, we got to work it out.
Well, let's see.
So I can get off.
I will be buying my tickets for Black Panther here shortly. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, make sure you do. You can just go to the Gamersledge webpage. The sign up is there towards the bottom center of the page. Last night, or on Monday, they had the world premiere. All of the reviews are still under embargo, but they did allow people to tweet impressions, and we showcased it in today's I basically took one line from every single impression tweet from all the critics, and if you read it, the hype is real. People came out saying that this is the best Marvel movie ever made, that the villain had people in tears because you actually felt that there was an emotional arc with the villain. I'm super excited to see it. I'm super excited to, it's soon, February 13th, right? I think that's the date.
15?
I thought it was the 13th. None of us know.
All of us have grabbed a different date.
Well, I live in a very small town, so it will be no early screenings.
It's probably the 16th, but I think it'll start on the 15th because the 15th is the Thursday. So it's probably 16th.
15th. Okay. Yeah, super excited to see that, and I think it's going to be super great. And then keep in mind also that 1 month later is Ready Player One. And Dad of War, and a bunch of other stuff. It's going to be a crazy set of months coming up. I'm going to need the podcast just to unpack what happens week to week.
I don't remember what I saw this week.
I know.
Last week. It's all blurred together.
It's coming too fast, man. It's coming too fast. So that
it's like Keanu Reeves and Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah. You know what? While I remember to do this, let me cue up the ending of the show because we didn't do that last time because I keep forgetting.
Yeah, what happened to the new intro? Is that not live yet?
So I'm still waiting on a couple people, hint, Kate, hint, for their intro video so that I can put that together. youtube.com/gamersledge.com and then
.net .org
No. What did it do? Oh, it did it.
What did you do?
And then we need to find the... Oh, God. Patreon. Okay, great. So that's queued up. So that brings us to the end of the show, where we always leave you with a kernel of wisdom to carry you through your week. This one I got specially for Kate, since we haven't seen her for a while. Hey, Kate! Why do vampires believe everything you tell them?
Just get it over with.
Because they're suckers. Until next week, game on.
Something.
Or that.
As the outro never works.